rain start. Just to bring you onto what is happening at the moment. It is intermediate tyres for every single driver. That means that the drivers can go to any compounds they want till the end of the race. That might be 2 sets of softs, a set of softs and a medium. We don't know. They can do whatever they want. We also don't know how long this rain is going to last. To bring you up to the proper speed, Hobbsy took the pole position and Jelly locks out the front row with him. Chris Panda's third, that's what he wants tonight, a podium. Mike, the Red Bull Ring, the 2 Red Bulls second and fourth, Jacko's fifth, Aravis sixth, Mills in the other Renault to Chris Panda's teammate, he's seventh, Farry's in eighth. Probably could have been a little bit quicker. J. Wills McLaren's 9th, Chimp is 10th, and the rest you can see for yourselves. Now, the interesting thing, normally in the dry conditions, they swap tyres, they have some softs, some mediums. Not the case here. Hedgehog, are you with us?
I'm just getting the stream out so everybody makes. I'm about to make a new stream, so you can carry on just for now. I'd appreciate it. It won't be long.
No problem. We have a constructors battle with the Racing Point 7 points ahead and the Red Bulls 29 points of McLaren as well. We also have a mini drivers battle that is getting a little bit tastier the longer we go throughout the season. Race 6 of 14 this one, and at the moment it's getting pretty hectic with Jelly only 27 points in front. Can that gap be closed? As Franco Pompey, one of the second drivers that have come in at the last minute, lines up on the back of the grid. I'm sure Kez will join us when we get going, but until that point I have no predictions to make. None of these drivers are used to driving in intermediate conditions, and we're almost ready to go at the Austrian Grand Prix, aka after tonight. Let's find out. It's wet to dry, and it's here we go. It's a tentative start. You saw the wheel spin from Hobbsy and the McLaren of Millsy, who's already under threat from Fabi Venom. Into turn one. Hobbsy leads. Joey's there as well. Chris Panda's had a good start. Jacko's lost a few positions, but he's regained back to fifth. Down to turn three we go. Hobbsy leads as Jelly goes almost wheel to wheel. Down to turn three. We've got 36 laps of this to go, and the McLaren of Hobbsy has the inside as they both struggle for traction, and Jelly just gets away with Chris Panda and Mike behind them. I'm hoping Kez is with us, but down to turn four, Jelly now leads.
I am with you, Limmy. Apologies for that. Obviously the stream meant I had to do a few things. Yeah, really interesting start to the race. Everybody's still in, which is great to see. Interesting position changes so far. James A's up 5, which is brilliant considering he had no quality time. Jelly's pulled away a little bit into first, but Hobbsy and Chris chasing him. Interesting start in the rain in Austria.
Hobbsy struggled with tyre slip, and so did Mills as well, which hasn't helped his -4 start as Hobbsy might go. Sorry, I just got a connection glitch. It is wheel to wheel with Chris Panda. There is contact, and Chris Panda's round in his Renault in turn 9, and that's what the intermediates can do. The slightest of taps, he's got to wait till everyone goes past, and that's exactly what Chris Panda didn't want at the start of Austria.
No, got it for Chris Panda. He was right in the thick of things, and now he's down to P15. A real shame for him. He's got to get into the pits now, and it's what do you do in the pits? Because how long is this rain going to last? I mean, you're obviously going to have to put another set of inters on because this rain wouldn't, anything wouldn't. Start again. Nothing else would work. So it's a case of what do you pit? Franco Pompey's also pit. Chris Panda's actually stayed out. Did he not get damage? He did get damage. He's got no. Oh no, actually very little from Chris Panda. Actually, I do apologise. I thought he had more than damage than that. Franco Pompey straight into the pits. He's back of the pack, and he's putting on a fresh set of inters and also a new wing. Whether he collided with somebody else, I'm not too sure. But he's the only one to pit, and he's got work to do in the Ferrari.
James in the Haas is 6 places up, but takes it wide at turn 4 and he's slowing down, and that means Jay Wills going into P8 just past him as well. But still a good start, up 5 by James, up 4 for Lewis, who's got a little bit of a gap between Jay Wills behind and Favi in front. Jacko is the only person on the grid apart from Frank up the back who hasn't changed position, and Mike Whitty is still on the back of Hobbsy as we go on to lap 3.
Well, interesting start, Limmy. Trying to get up to speed, to be honest with you. It's an absolute nightmare, this. But no one's got penalties yet either, which you don't expect to get penalties. You have to take the corners really, really slow. And obviously your braking distance changes as well. But everyone started okay. Chris Panda, obviously a nightmare for him. Didn't get damage, which I'm surprised about. It looked like he hit into the wall. on my screen, but no damage Chris Panda, so not really the end of the world for him. If he had to change tyres, it wouldn't have been ideal, but he stayed out and not had a bad start. Chimp not in a great position either. He dropped 5 as the Toro Rosso. No damage from him. Whether he's pitted on it, I will check in a moment, just trying to keep up to speed. But it's Jelly and Hobbsy that are going at it. Jelly with a 2-second lead on the McLaren, who's followed closely by Mike. He may go for an overtake soon. Arab's up 2, and Jacko remains where he started in P5.
Hobbsy did go wide into turn 3, but you just saw if he was on my end, and that allowed Mike to cut the gap a little bit. But Hobbsy done well out of turn 4 as Mike took too much curve. I think Chris Panda has just made the move on Top Dog, and he's gone from 3rd to 14th and now up to 13th. So Chris Panda has it all to do. Is there a possible driver of the day story to come? We'll find out, but definitely not the start Chris Panda wanted. And it was tough because in the dry he wouldn't have spun. It was just a very light shoulder of a tap on the right rear wheel of Hobbsy. But on the inters, the reason why he didn't get much damage is because his car just turned. It wasn't at a fast pace. It just pirouetted into the wall. But it's a shame for Chris Panda, but he's got 32 laps to try and do better, Kez.
Well, that's it. Don't forget the weather is scheduled to change. This is what we said about the weather. You know, these racers, a lot of these racers, drivers, aren't used to rain. We haven't done any sessions this season in the rain. Every race has been clear, as we mentioned earlier on. So, you know, a lot of these aren't used to the rain. So it's going to be interesting. As Mike takes it a little bit wide, he's saying right behind Hobbsy at the moment, could do with the overtake. But the Red Bulls, to be fair, had an excellent start to the race. P1 for Jelly and P3 from Mike, respectively. Hobbsy sort of sandwiched in the middle, but Arav also up 2. And Fabi up 2, so the racing points. So are currently top of constructors. Had a good start to the race, but yeah, it's been an interesting start. The Renaults are struggling a little bit. Chris down 10, Millsy down 3. They've got work to do. But yeah,
Chris Panda's just on the back of AEK, but he just can't quite force him. So what we'll see here is he's like a Leclerc. Not a Leclerc, who was it? Someone in Hamilton, in Britain, where they come from the back and come right through. I was thinking Leclerc with another circuit, or Vettel in Germany or whatever, as he goes wheel to wheel with AEK, and AEK doesn't really give him a car's with it. So he go wheel to wheel, but AEK steps off, probably knowing that he did a little bit wrong there, but he's still going to compete into turn 10. But Chris Panda just goes through. We'll have to just keep an eye on the car's whip. But Chris Panda's up 2 positions from when he dropped Kez, and he's making progress as Franco Pompey is already being lapped by the leaders.
Yeah, I feared for Chris a little bit. They didn't look like AEK was going to take him right onto the grass. Luckily, just managed to keep on the track, but I did fear for a minute that Chris Panda didn't get any room off AEK there, and
here we go, Kez.
Could have been a bit of a mess.
A cheeky overtake from Fabi Venom on Jacko down to turn 4. Jacko puts his car in probably the best position, but goes wide and brakes too late. Should be an easy overtake for Fabi Venom. Yes, it is. And under pressure, Jacko in the Alpha, I believe is a new driver, has dropped a position to P6, just braking a little bit late into 4.
Really good start for the racing points, as I mentioned earlier. Favi up 3, Arav up 2. They are the top of constructors, and they will 1 point today to cement that. The closest to them are the Red Bulls, and Mike and Jelly both up 1 each, respectively. Jelly up from 2nd to 1st, Mike from 3rd to 4th. Sorry, from 4th to 3rd, should I say. They've had a really good start, but it could be an interesting battle here between the 2 racing points and the 2 Red Bulls, with Hobbsy sort of, as we said, sandwiched in the middle, but it's them 2 that are fighting for the constructors so far, looking like the 2 teams that, you know, I'd say are pulling away in the constructors. Obviously, Hobbsy's had a great season, but his teammate, we had a teammate for a lot of the season. J Bulls obviously stepped into the McLaren now, but you'd like to think it was the Red Bulls and the racing points that are battling for the constructors. So it's going to be interesting to watch that pan out tonight, Limmy.
So that's a little 4-way battle going down to turn 1 at the moment. It's for 4 cars behind Lewis. James, Chambers, Chris Panda and Mills. Very, very close. The 2 Renaults next to each other. And of course, Mills let Chris through as quick as he can. What we haven't realised is Chimp is down 5 places into 15th. There was a yellow flag. You might have seen it on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, at the start of last lap. There's also a yellow flag. It's a Ferrari, but I think it's Franco Pompey up on Goofy. It is Franco Pompey. He's really struggling in the wets, and he's trying to let everyone pass, which is fair enough. But yeah, there was a yellow flag. It was Shim. And he is down 5 places. And Kez, you may have just noticed, I'm sure you're about to tell me, the rain has stopped, but the spray is still there in abundance.
Yeah, you can still see it's not time for a tyre change just yet, but you do think over the next couple of laps it could come into effect. Obviously, like you say, it looks that the rain has cleared up. As you can see as we're on board with Jelly here, the spray on his tyres is still quite, what's the word, Limmy? What am I looking for? Quite visible, shall we say. Visible. Trying to think of a word. As you can see, the rain is very visible on Jelly's tyres, so clearly not time for a pit stop just yet, but it can definitely come into account over the next few laps, and someone's gone for an early pit. It is Jay Wills of the McLaren.
Is it for the rain, or has he got damage at the front of his wing? Because he did have a little bit of a tussle with Millsy. Let's have a look at the McLaren crew very quickly. A change in the wing.
I ain't got a good feel on it.
I think they are. He was damaged on both sides. He's put softs on already. Jacko onto the circuit has passed Favi Venom out of turn 3 as well. And without DRS, you must think that was a mistake of a braking point or going wide for Favi Venom. But these two are having a right little tussle for P5 at the moment, and there is still a lot of spray. So Kez, you need to keep an eye on these soft tyres, because they are still going to be absolutely useless in these conditions.
It was a real... Obviously, pitting just then, it was, well, I'll put intermediates on for the sake of one or two. The softs that, you know, aren't the ideal compound at the moment, but it'll save you pitting in the moment's time. What are we doing at?
Panda has just gone into the back of Pompey, but I don't think
he's not going to pit.
It's all going wrong for Chris in Austria. But Chris didn't know, and he wondered why he stopped and just went straight into the back of him.
End-plate of Chris Panda has gone, and from starting third and with a real, you know, hope of a podium. I think it could be his first podium of the season if he'd have got one tonight. Has not gone down the drain just yet, but he's got work to do. Damage to his McLaren. Not his McLaren. His McLaren. His Renault. He's got work to do. But actually, you know, as you can see, looking on the track now, there's still a lot of. Oh, and Lewis goes wide, and Chris should gain a position into P7. There he does. Lewis went wide. But you can see on the vehicle of Chris Panda now, there's still a lot of spray up to them tyres, and Jay Bill's the only driver out of the 16 to not be on the intermediate still at the moment.
Let's have a quick look at Chris Panda's results. He got a P6 in USA. He didn't finish Belgium. He got a P4 in Mexico. Didn't finish Monaco, and got a P4 in Australia. So a pretty good, consistent bunch of results. But he is looking for a podium. But it's all gone wrong at the moment as Jacko closes the gap to Arav, but increases the gap to Favi Venom. Look at this. He might make a move into turn 1 here. He does. He moves to the right. Does break early though, waiting for the opportunity. And Arav gives him the room that he needs. And Jacko goes into P4 in his Alfa Romeo. Not a bad start from the new recruited driver.
He does go into P4, but the racing points, both from a pack of wolves behind him, they're both literally on his tail, and you only think it's a matter of time before them two go for an overtake. They're literally battling with each other at the moment, as Favi is right on the tail of his teammate Arav. Like I said, the constructors' leaders don't want to do anything silly and ruin each other's race. It's all about taking your time. Pit stops are going to be coming soon. There's still spray on the track at the moment, but you feel it's only a matter of time until people start changing the tyres.
Lewis has gone wide at turn 3, and that might cost him James's P7. He goes wheel to the left side of Lewis, and he doesn't give him a track's width. And that is...
there's a collision as well.
Contact between the Haas and the Merc, and
Lewis has gone
fully round.
Oh dear me.
It all went wrong from when Lewis didn't give the car's width to the Haas driver of James, and he's done really well from a quali ban in 14th place as well, and he's fine to carry on there. He did cause a collision, but should have been given a car's width, and Mills is right behind his teammate as Chris Panda struggles with that right end plate damage. I'm just checking the tyre changes at the moment. Yes, only Jay Wills who went to the softs. The spray is decreasing,
Chris has gone for a pit,
but it's still there, and the DRS is not on, and the Merc is off in turn 6.
Let's get on board with Chris Panda, who's going into the pits, the second driver behind J Wills to pit. He's going to go for a... Let's take a look. Is that another set of inters from Chris Panda? Very interesting, that. Is it another set of inters? Can we clarify? It is another set of inters, which is a surprising move. Obviously, it's not the time for softs or mediums just yet, but it's only going to be a lap or two, you feel, until it is. So an interesting move from Chris Panda there.
But I mean, very interesting. From my experience, I'm trying to think. The rain either dries up very quickly or not. Now, if you look at, let's just go on board with Jelly at the moment. If you look at his front right tyre, there's still a heck of a lot of spray, and the rain stops on lap 5.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I think Mills has just got past James into P7 as well. I don't know if James has got damage. Oh, he does. The front right end plate from hitting the Merc of Lewis.
That's a real shame for James, isn't it? Because he's had such a good start to the race as well, from having the quali ban to being up to P8.
Absolutely, but I mean, if he was given a car's width, that's not saying there wouldn't have been any contact, but it would have been a wheel to wheel and better understanding for us to see what was happening. Favi's gone on for another set of inters as well. There's a yellow flag and that might be Top Dog or Chip.
Lewis is retired in the Mercedes.
Where's that? Turn 3. Just go on board with Chip now and you'll get a good view as he comes into turn 3. And Lewis is actually retired legitly. He's pressed the button on his game to retire from a session. So there's one driver down, Kez. 15 to go.
Well, to be fair, after 11 laps, I expected more. No respect to the drivers, but in the rain, not used to the rain as well.
Sorry, Kez. Hobbsy's just made a mistake somewhere, but Mike is now into P2 after turn 10. And now the 2 Red Bulls lock out Austria.
Well, what an opportunity for the Red Bulls have got. Like I say, Mike's not had the greatest season so far. Picked up a decent result in Australia last week, but other than that, not really done very well. So he's desperate points. Jelly, to be honest, has carried the load for the Red Bulls this season. So a top 2 here for the Red Bulls would be pretty superb, especially when you think Arav and Favi aren't slacking by any means, but the 5th and 6th could bring the Red Bulls back into 1st. I've not got the standings on me for constructors, but I know they're quite close. You'll probably have more information on that than me, as Mike takes it a little bit wide, loses a bit of his back end, but keeps on the track. Hobbsy wants to get that position back. But if you look, to be honest with you, if you look at that front 3, Hobbsy in P3, look at the gap to P4. It's an incredible lead from the front 3. And realistically, only a safety car, or even a VSC, probably wouldn't make much of a difference. So that front 3 have got a really comfortable lead as Favi goes into the pits and puts a medium compound on. Interesting move from the Racing Point there.
Go to the end. Also, just to note, Arav has picked softs. J-Wo has picked softs 4 laps to go. He's still in. We still have quite a few drivers left, so there is still time for stuff to happen. But now is the trickiest part, the transition between what the softs cannot take and then beginning to what they can take as the track dries out, and that's the hardest part. And mostly everyone decides to stay out, if not for at least one more. But like you say, a 17-second gap from 3rd to 4th, and then another 23-second gap from 4th to 5th. The gaps are starting to open up. Like you say, only a safety car will close it up.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I'm just on board with Jelly now, the race leader, and there's still a little bit of spray coming off the track. Not as much as there was, but you can still see, if you look at Jelly's car now, Limmy, you can still see that little bit of spray just here and there flicking up. So it's clear the track clearly isn't dry, and the majority are still on inters. Whether Jelly will decide to pit now, we will find out in a moment's time, but there's still a bit of spray. It looks like Jelly is heading for the pits. He's going over to the right-hand side of the track. As Born Goofy spins out and stops Jelly going into the pits. I don't know whether he's going to pit or not anyway. But Born Goofy in the Ferrari.
Mike pits, because it might be a communication thing between the 2 Red Bulls. There it is. It is. So if Jelly couldn't get past him, Mike would have come in, or they pre-planned it and Jelly said, look, I can do one more lap. The Hatters did the same. James came in. Whether that was track position based or they're in communication, I don't know. But that means obviously you can't send 2 drivers in for a double stack unless you've got a decent amount of time. So a lot of teams now sending their first drivers in, whether that's track position based or they say, whoa, I'm alright, I'll do another lap, or the second lot will come in now. So you'll probably see Jelly, Hobbsy, Jacko. You see Jacko over there. And after a couple more laps, we'll get a good idea, Kez, of what the strategies are. Is it a medium to the end, which is possible, or a 2 set of softs?
Yes, mate, I've just checked the penalties, and the only... Oh, I say that, just as I check the penalties, there's another penalty, and that's Jay Wills again, who I believe is the... Oh, wait, that was... Is that a new penalty from Jay? I think it was. So Jay Wills is the only current driver to have a penalty. 6 seconds, I believe, now for Jay Wills. The rest of the grid don't apparently there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Just trying to find out where that is. It's gone pretty quickly, so I'm guessing it wasn't.
It's in the pits.
Yeah, as Jelly goes into the pits, what does the race leader choose? What compound to choose? Franco Pompi in front of him goes into the pits again. He's had a bit of a nightmare as the filling Ferrari driver.
How crazy is that? James pitted when he was 8th, and you could just see him a screenshot. Jelly coming in the pits behind. That's how quick the front runners are.
So we've got Jelly on the mediums. Hobbsy also goes for mediums, which is surprising because Hobbsy, I mean, you can go to the end on mediums, but Hobbsy's a fan of the hards normally. Obviously, the rain has had a bit of an impact on that. But Hobbsy, Mike, and Jelly, the race leaders, all on the medium compound. As Mike goes wide but regains his P2 over Hobbsy.
He does. It was just flickering. I was just trying to get to it as quickly as possible. I thought for a second we were going to have some wheel-to-wheel action. Now, I haven't seen the announcement. You may be able to correct me. Oh no, it's still slippy. But DRS might be back on. What I definitely know is that Born Goofy is still on inters from 1 lap ago. Whether that's a tyre change mistake or he did it for a reason which I'm not sure what the reason is, he's going to have to pit again. But yeah, we got a fresh tyre range of different tyres. We've got medium, soft, we've got hard from Chris. That'll definitely go to the end. And we got inters on the grid as well. But the softs will be able to do 10 to 13 laps with, so that's a 2-stop for Jacko, Arav, Mills, etc. As for 2 hash drivers, they just swapped and they swapped because James is off after turn 1. And he's dropped 2 places to his teammate and Chris Panda. And what happened there? Because he might have slipped with his tyres or there might have been contact. I'll never know. But James has now lost 2 positions there, Kez, and it was just after turn 1.
Yes, I was just going to comment on Chris Panda's tyres, mate. He's the only driver on hards. If you watch the practice race that we did, Chris Panda did go on the hard compound and he was excellent on them. He looks after them really well.
Off. In the middle of the track. Oh, there's contact!
Top dog.
I think there's another car involved as well. It's Fabi Venom. His Top Dog came back onto the track and has hit the racing point, who then sends AEK wide onto the gravel. What is going on in Austria? We also have a safety car or a VSC or something because we have a yellow track, unless there's a yellow flag in every single sector, which I don't know that was possible. And Fabi...
What a nightmare for Fabi. 3 laps worth of mediums and he's running the pits again. A nightmare for the racing points.
Mediums or hards or 2 softs, which is too slow. You can't have 2 pit stops now. 1 more. But we've still got a complete track colouring.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't get an indication.
So he puts another pair of
softs
on.
Yeah.
You can't. That's maybe it's always got. Could be. But so Top Dog span. Now I didn't capture the spin. I didn't actually get to the moment there was a retirement. But he was on the middle of the track. It is a safety car.
And Wills gets a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits.
It is a safety car, you're right. It's just on Bobby Jelly who has caught the safety car up. You're absolutely right. And I didn't get the notification. Oh, you've got it on your screen.
Only
you've been told.
Just came up now.
Only now.
What I would say is, the top 3, Jelly, Obsy and Mike, who had an incredible lead, is now gone. Yeah. It's open race.
See, the good thing is, yes, it tightens up the grid, but out of Mills, AEK, the people on the softs have got to get in front of them ASAP because they've got another pit stop to go. So if Arav wants any chance of getting a podium, which he has got time, they'll have about 25 minutes of racing to go, even maybe 30. He'll have to get in front of them, get a gap, then pit and then go at them again.
Yeah.
And it brings in Hobbsy and Mike, who are quick. Hobbsy was the quickest man by half a second in quali. They've all got the same tyres as well. The track will be not 100%, but it'll be basically dry enough to race at full speed.
And he's going to be, the pits, as you mentioned, Limmy, he has gone into the pits.
So interesting. He actually got a boost going into a pits. He might actually come out in front of the Ferrari of Oh no, this is the we've got the lap cars in the safety car as well, so we're going to have that blue
goes for
flag
fresh mediums.
problem. See,
you are right,
clever.
yeah, you are right.
That's clever though, because where's Arab? He's going to come out the pits, it's important, he stays in front of Jacko, who's going to come out first? I think the wheel to wheel going down to turn 3. I think it's whoever came out first.
Jacko's got it.
It was Jacko before the line, after the line. Wow, that could be a massive turning point in this race. Jacko did just have the gap, and Arab is right to give him a room.
But you are right, Limmy, what you said. Jay Wills is behind Arab, who's P5, yet he's 11th. He's a lap behind Jay Wills, which is a problem for the drivers behind him. The likes of Mills, AEK, Panda, etc. And I'm guessing it's not just Wills that's in that situation.
Absolutely not. Franco Pompey is separating Jacko and Mike at the moment. Now, don't forget, Kez, Jacko and Arab have new tyres. Yes, Jelly Hobbses and Mike are new, but they've already done 3 laps.
Yeah.
These guys have new tyres. Jacko has actually put a set, Jacko had 1 lap extra, which wouldn't have been much because he was on the safety car. So Favi, Venom and Pompey also separate Mike and Jacko, which means Favi Venom, count him out for a podium because he's a lap down. And Jacko just nearly went into a back
Jay
of a
Wills, I don't know who was in front of Jay Wills, it was Arab, he nearly wiped him out. I think didn't expect the brake check. Jay Wills is trying to overtake. Obviously frustration for him. He's a lap behind. Yeah, he's so frustrating when you're a lap behind a safety car.
Mills has pitted, and I'm guessing it's for a set of mediums. He's doing the right thing. He had to wait a whole lap though, but it is going to put him at the back of the grid. But he isn't lapped. That's the most important thing. He will be at the back, but he isn't lapped. And the hardest thing for the drivers that most of them don't understand, as Chimp is demonstrating with James, that they don't understand the rules of the safety car. If
Chimp and James are thinking a bit confused.
And that's the thing. I mean, I did try and explain during the stream during Monaco. I probably should have put a message out because it's happened consistently now that a safety car that hasn't happened early on, that comes in from a third of the race onwards, everyone just goes into a state of confusion. Now in real life the cars separate, they'll find a gap on the grid, they'll let the back markers go out to reformulate from 1 to 20 or whatever it is. In Formula 1 2019, the game, you can't do that. If you're lapped, you may have yourself in between 5th and 6th, and that's just the way the game works. Because technically, how can the game code that you're going to automatically move to the back? It can't.
Yeah. You spotted me, you hit the nail on the head there, mate. As safety car, is it going to come in? The grid has been slowed down. And it is coming in, so here we go again, heading on to lap 20, and it is wide open in Austria. Have a drink, recharge the batteries, and we go again. And this is a wide open race. Jelly, Hobbsy, Mike, Jacko, Arav are all in this race. AK, fresh pair of socks, probably will have to pit again, definitely will have to pit again. As Jelly doesn't waste any time, and flies! And he goes way off the track, but he keeps actually not as bad as what I thought it was. My camera made it look like he'd gone really into the grass, but he's on the track. Hobbsy closing the gap. Nothing's changed, I don't think, early on. Obviously, he might get a penalty for that. He took it really wide, but doesn't get a penalty. Do you want to take over?
On to lap 20 we go. We're just over halfway, and so far no immediate overtakes. Like he said, did look like he clipped a curb a bit, and through his efforts got fastest sector 1, but we expect the times to decrease as they lose weight and burn fuel, and all these cars would have saved their batteries and fuel, as most cars are down to 60% already. No DRS until lap 22, and the smallest interval gap is Chris Panda and AEK as he moves to the right hand side. Hard versus soft down to turn 4, and Chris Panda's into P6. He's starting to turn his race around.
Chris Panda on a nightmare, didn't he, Limmy? An early pit stop, a bit of a... Did he get damaged? He didn't get damaged, no, did he? Didn't get damaged. He went into the pits early on after a bit of a nightmare. But like you say, Limmy, he's back in the race now. We know, after the practice race we did the other night, he's more than capable of looking after his hards.
So it's a process of the back markers getting out of everyone's way to get through. I think that's the case. So we got Jelly by Hobbsy by Mike, the 2 Red Bulls first and third. Jacko's in 4th. He's got Arav in a racing point for company. Chris is behind AEK, James and Mills. Every single person is in the correct order Except, I think it's Favi Venom who's just behind Mike going down to turn 4. So that's the only car in terms of back markers, and no overtakes again into turn 3, Kez. But next lap, for the final 15, we've got DRS assistance.
What I would say, Limmy, is that this gives a massive opportunity for the Red Bulls. Obviously, they're in a battle, as we mentioned earlier, with the racing points for the Constructors' Championship. And with Fabi Venom down in 10th, and an absolute acre behind the rest of the pack, if Red Bull can hold out here and get a top 3 between the two of them, what an opportunity that is to gain some ground in the Constructors and potentially go back into P1.
Mills and James having a moment going wheel to wheel down to turn 4, but Mills didn't have any testicles and backed out a little bit as he's in P9. Got to be careful what we say now, and Arav only half a second away from Jacko, and he's closing as Jacko breaks really early, and luckily Arav moves out the way, so there's no contact. I don't know why you did that, but luckily Arav avoided all contact, and Mills is on the back of James again as James is charging. You can see the red lights at the back of his car indicating that he's struggling for battery. He's on 2%, and his car's also charging as Mills tries to cut the curve because he couldn't go anywhere. It's cost him time. Jacko and Arav go wheel to wheel into turn 3 with his contact as the Alpha gets out okay, but it brings where's Chris Panda? Oh, never mind, there was someone else getting involved. Who was it?
A Ferrari, I think it's Pompey or Goofy. One of them, obviously a lap behind, are in the mix as well.
Actually. Pretty sure it was, I don't know.
No, it is Bon Goofy, he's literally right behind Arav, he's a lap behind, is the Ferrari.
Yeah.
But must have wanted to get involved a little bit as Arav and Jacko, a bit of a rivalry. Oh, is it the retirement of Fan Venom's gone? He's retired from the session, and what an opportunity for the Red Bulls now!
Car. I think it's a safety car. I ain't got a message.
It just popped up on my screen. I saw his tyre fly into the wall.
It isn't a safety car. It's
but
a VSC.
What an opportunity for the Red Bulls. The Racing Points who lead the Constructors have lost a man. Wow.
So
drama in Austria.
That's not even a turn. I mean, after turn 8, it's a left-hand curve.
Straight into the wall, wheels
off.
I'm
guessing he's just lost it. Oh, Jacko's got a penalty. What the crew waiting for? I'm guessing that's it. He's going for soft change for win Jacko's race. He's now down to the bottom 10. It's still a virtual safety car, and Franco Pompey decided to pit, albeit being a few laps behind. Chimp wanted a decent result here, Kez, but he sat in 12th, and what, 10 seconds away from the
Pompey's
top 10?
retired.
No, he's in the pit.
Oh, is it in the pit?
Yeah, it's not the race that Chimp wanted, but obviously the rain didn't help because he was 15th. Yeah,
well, Chimp did mention prior to race that is his favourite track on the calendar, so I'm sure he'll be really disappointed that he's not really done very much. I mean, he's still time yet. A safety car again could bring people back in you don't really expect. But he's been off the radar tonight, Chimp. We've not really mentioned him too much, and he'll be disappointed tonight. No doubt about that.
So Mills is secure with the 8th. He's got 2 Hasses in front of him, which I'm sure he'll want to get past. Those soft tyres from them guys probably pushing 40% of them. As Mills has DRS on James, so does James on AEK though, and let's keep an eye on this battle all the way down to turn 4 in a little bit as James goes for the inside on AEK.
What that was.
And AEK I think might have let him have it, but they go wheel to wheel, almost 3 wide as Mills comes to the left hand side. But why did he back off? He had all the track available, Mills. All the track available, and he's just let the Haas drivers go past. He would have been in P6 if he carried on.
Oh, he's lost traction as well, Mills, and lost ground. I agree with me. Mills should have gone for it. He had the track, he had the room, he should have gone for it, but he messed up there, bottled it a little bit, and he remains in P8 with a little bit of work to do on the 2 Hasses. I mean, let's just mention quickly, sorry to interrupt me, just quickly, the Hasses have had a pretty poor season, but as it stands, what a result this would be for the 2 of them. I don't think they've picked up many points at all. Who?
We'll be very happy.
Oh, that's the leader. I wondered who you meant, and look at it, comments because someone had commented.
You'll break my door.
Haas have not really had a great season, but what a result this would be for the Haas drivers if they can get 6th, 7th. And what I say is James is definitely on for driver of the day. He started, what, 15th?
So I think AEK's entering the pits.
And that puts Mills into P7.
And he's going to have to now push it because he's wasting time on Chris Pando, I guess. I mean, he's 12 seconds ahead, so probably a P6 is the maximum Mills he's going to get here, unless we have another safety car. Chris is half a second away from Arif, who's actually doing really well on 11 laps of hard. He's gaining ground. He won't gain enough this time, but we'll have to keep an eye on this because Chris Panda is still on for a podium and a potential DOTD from last place after lap 1.
There's a bit of pressure on Arrow's shoulders, obviously, with his teammate Favi going out the session. If Racing Point want to be up there for constructors and keep their P1, Arrow's got to get a good finish here.
So doing the maths very quickly, before tonight, Racing Point was 7 points in front. Don't count quali fastest lap driver day points. Red Bull will be taking 37 points here. Arrow will be taking 12. That's a 25 minus 7 difference, which is 18 points difference. If it stays the same, he might even drop a position from Chris Panda in the next 2 turns as the Renault hunts down the Racing Point. I think one of the closest gaps is Mills to James as well, and we'll go back to that after Chris Panda. What can he get out of a turn for the DRS for turn 3? And he gets a pretty good exit as well. He's already on the gearbox of Arif. He's going to move to the left hand side with a bit of a speed boost and max battery. Chris Panda is now nearly, maybe not.
There's a collision.
Arif cuts him off a little bit. I don't think that's allowed. That's got to be questionable from Arif. We know what happened from Hobbsy to him in Australia last week. Maybe that's playing on his mind a little bit. But Chris Panda looked to have had that done there, Kez. What's your opinion on that?
What I would say, Limmy, is I don't think I mentioned it, Mike Whitty pitted. So at the moment, a big battle for a P3. Chris isn't going to pit again. Neither is Arav. So a battle for a podium here. The Red Bull of Mike pitting puts him down into P5. And Arav, Chris and Mike all in a battle for a P3.
Absolutely, and leader gap 19 seconds. If Mike could do 1.8 seconds a lap, which listen is pretty hard going, but they've done 12 laps of mediums and he's got fresh softs. You don't know. We could be in for a tight. Mills is still backing off from James. Only a 10th in it. And here we go. Has he got the opportunity? Come on, Mills. DRS. Wheel to wheel with the harsh driver James. He should have the extra speed. Can he lock in P6? We got to keep an eye on it down to turn 4 though, because James can come back immediately. Maybe he can't as he goes wide. A little bit wide. And Mills is finally into that P6 place, Kaz.
A brilliant result for the Renault so far. Obviously, as you can see, it can change in a matter of seconds, but a P4 for Chris, still in the hunt for a podium position, and Mills in a P6. A great result for Renault, so they can keep it up.
I think Mike's going for a fastest lap. The fastest lap so far is a 1 minute 8.078. He's also going to have a bit of DRS to help him as well. The new fastest lap is a 1 minute 7.8, and that is going to Mike at the moment. He may also get his overtake on P4 to push Chris Panda down one, and we'll just keep an eye on that. He's going to struggle as Chris Panda also has DRS on the Racing Point of Arab in front. A great three-way tussle here for the P3 position as Chris Panda is looking to overtake Arab down to turn 4. He's on the left hand side and Arab might try and do the same thing again, and he goes on the inside to cover it off. Mike is getting involved as well, wheel to wheel with Chris Panda. So Chris and Mike are swapped. Arab is still P3. Kez, carry on.
Absolutely breathtaking, Limmy. I can't keep up. They sort of changing every second, and Mike's come from nowhere back into the fight, and all three of these drivers want a podium for their own respective reasons. Mike's not had a great season, don't forget, yet to pick up a podium. Neither Chris Pandy's not on a podium yet either, and Arav, who's currently got the P3, his teammate's out. So to get the Racing Point constructor points, he needs to stay in the race and get a P3. We've got a real battle here. Mike gets the ERS. Will he get him on the outside? He could do, but Arav holds ground and gets a position. I mean, this is brilliant racing, Limmy. I'm sure you'll agree.
100%. I mean, they both did the right thing there as well. I mean, Mike faked the inside and Howard's just kept his line. Here he goes again to turn 3. Howard's going to not cover the inside, and Mike makes a dive bomb. Will it work into turn 3? It does! And Mike makes a great overtake into P3, and with the fastest lap as well. Can he chase down Hobbsy in 8 laps?
Well, I think Chris's harder sort of catching up with him. He's sort of lost a bit of ground. It looks like his podium could be gone. He's losing ground on Arav and Mike, who are both very, very quick. But with Mike's fresh softs, he is pulling away. You do feel the podium is his to lose now.
18 seconds is the leader gap, 16 to Hobbsy. 2 seconds a
Bon
lap will be
Goofy's retired,
required.
Limmy,
Bon
sorry.
Goofy's gone at turn 7 as well. Little bit too late maybe for a safety car. Yeah, you're right, and we're down to 11. One more to go, and every person's getting a point. But at the moment, fastest lap points going to Mike, qualifying points going to Hobbsy, and the driver of the day point at the moment, we don't know. It takes a driver's vote, but it probably might not be going to the race leader of Jelly at the moment, even though he's doing really well.
I think James has got a shout for driver of the day. Limmy, he's up 6. And it would have been more. He had a bit of a collision, didn't he, earlier on?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Mills and Arav also up there for driver of the day. But, you know, let's not forget, Jelly's won every race so far this season. Oh, no, sorry, not every race. The majority of races.
3 out
and
of
not
5.
picked up a driver of the day vote, so
Here
you never know.
Chris Panda's attempt for a P4, he goes to the left of Arav. Now he's got the space this time to go flying past the racing point, and Arav got no way to reply. And Chris Panda, from being last after the first lap, he's now into P4, and he's got to defend for 6.5 more laps.
Well, I mean, you do feel that we've literally been talking about these 3 for the past 2.5, 3 laps, and you do feel again that Mike is pulling away with it now on them fresh softs, and the podium again is his to lose now. His first podium of the season, I do believe. Unless he got one in Australia, he might have done, but I think he got 5th in Australia. I have to check that. But it is his to lose. It's Arav and Chris go at it. Yes, Limmy.
What we haven't noticed is that with 6 laps to go, Hobbsy is now in the DRS zone for the race lead. He's been pitching at it very slowly. I've been noticing it in the corner of my eye. It was about 2 seconds before. It was about 5. Now it's 0.7. And as long as Hobbsy can keep up a decent race pace in the second and third sector where there's no DRS, keep it within a second, he's got a massive chance, like a Verstappen on Leclerc, at the end of the race, as Chris Panda and Arav tussling again down to turn 4, and I think Arav's got the job done, and these two are just going to keep swapping to the final lap, Kez.
Well, you're right about Jelly and Hobbsy, mate. We've not really discussed them. We've sort of let them do the jobs and not really focused on them too much. But you're right, Hobbsy is gaining on Jelly a little bit. They both have 17 lap old mediums, so a level playing field in terms of the tyres. But yeah, you're right, with 4 or 5 laps to go, we've not really focused on these two very much.
It has gone back up to 1.4 seconds, and I think that was part to play for Jelly's battery saving. I mean, at the point I was talking before, he had 70 to Hobbsy's 20. Now it's 40 to 16, so it's close a little bit. But, excuse me, saving a little bit of battery for Jake has helped him out. You see, like we said, in the second and third sector, if he can't keep up with the pace that Jelly set, he's got no chance.
Yeah.
And it's now dropping. It was gaining, it's now dropping as Chris Panda. I mean, those are the only closest battles on the grid at the moment. I mean, the interval 17, 4, 16, 38, 2, 16. They're quite elongated gaps. The only other text we've got really is...
No, how you carry on, mate. But I was just going to mention, I'm sure that Funny House Chimp will be very disappointed. His favourite track on the calendar, and he's 11th. He's going to be the only driver currently to finish the race and not pick up a single point. What I would mention again is that Renault have had a superb race, 5th and 6th respectively for Chris and Mills, and Chris is not out of the reckoning yet for a P4. Mike's pulled away now, and then that top 3 realistically looks pretty much set in stone, bar a mistake from an individual error. It looks pretty much done. I mean, Jelly is pulling away. He's now 2 seconds clear of Hobbsy, and obviously Mike is pulling away from Arav. He's not going to catch Mike, let's be honest. So that top 3 looks done. The only real battle at the moment, like you say, Limmy, everyone else is quite separated, but between Arav and Chris for a P4.
Absolutely, and the best thing about live commentary is that whatever happens in front of your eyes is what happens. In the 36 laps of Austria tonight, you get what you get. And will Chris Panda make a move into turn 4? He doesn't, but he's waiting. He's also charged his battery. But to be fair, so has Arav. Both on 100%. And Arav's done 15 laps on the medium, so my guess would be for about 30%. Then they won't be too worn, but they'll be worn a bit. The hards will be better, maybe not on the race time, but these are two great drivers in this league. Two drivers that will be at the top of the driver standings at the end of the season. But you know, because every race matters, this P4 might mean something at the end of a championship. And before, I think there may be an overtake down to turn 3 brewing. Let's have a look and see what exits Chris Panda can get. Arab has been getting very defensive, as we've seen over the past few laps. Chris Panda's going to go down the inside to turn 4, but Arab brakes really late, and that was a great braking zone from Arab, to be fair. But don't forget, Chris Panda was just behind him in the detection zone, so he will have another go, but I don't think he's close. No, he isn't. So a lap 36 job.
Possibly, mate, but he's got 20 lap holder hards. I mean, Arab's got 16 lap of medium, so both of their tyres are not in the greatest condition. They've sort of been going at it. It's been great racing, to be fair, from the two of them. Great fair racing. Whoever gets P4 deserves it. I'm sure whoever doesn't will be disappointed. But what I do want to mention quickly is that we previously mentioned about Hobbsy and Jelly. Hobbsy has 6 seconds worth of penalties. So bar a mistake from Jelly now, he will be crowned Austria winner.
There you go, the penalty man on it again, as Chris Panda on board with POV as they come up to a back mark, as well as Chip Lexon passed. And this is a great battle. We've got 2 laps of Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It is the Red Bull Ring today. Will it keep it that way for 2.5 more minutes of racing? Will Chris Panda take the P4 spot? Chimp's too far away to get any points tonight, and Jay Wills for Hobbs' teammate might be contributing a little bit as well, as we'll go through the rest of the grid. Who just came in to turn 3? Someone just hit Chris Panda coming out of turn 3. It hasn't affected him, but I think it was a Toro Rosso.
Yeah, I was going to say the only driver who could have hit him is Chimp. I didn't see it.
He just hit him on the right hand side of his car into turn 3. Didn't cost him anything, but it definitely did hit him. But anyway, Jelly leads us on to lap 36 with Hobbsy 3 seconds behind, and it's Chris Panda's last chance. Kez, when I finish this race with Jelly, you need to make sure you're on board with Arv and Chris, because I might not be able to see it.
No problem, mate, I'm already on to that.
And Jelly's making his way down to turn 4. Textbook, kinda, for him. He did have a little battle and struggle, but it was the lap 1 turn 3 overtake that he got on Hobbsy early on that decides the race. We see it in real life Formula 1 in so many occasions that lap 1 wins your races. Bottas in Australia, Hamilton in Spain, I could list so many more, and it mattered tonight in the light rain. But Jelly, apart from that, hasn't put a foot wrong. He also hasn't won in the past 2 races, but he comes round turn 10 for the Red Bull Ring. It's a Red Bull victory for Jelly. His 3rd race win in 6. Congratulations to him. Kez, lead us over for Arav and Chris Panda as Mike crosses the line in 3rd.
Just for a second, Limmy, it looked like Chris Panda had pipped to 4th, but he sort of held off the brakes a little bit, and it looks like Arav now will hold on. But I would say he's incredible racing from the two of them. What an incredible battle that was. Looks like Arav has just won it. Arav needed it. No points for his teammate tonight, he needed it. And Chris, to be fair to him, it's a great race from him and his teammate Mills, a 5th and 6th respectively. What an incredible race in Austria.
Ryan Mills coming down to turn 9. 2 corners to go. Don't mess it up. He's also got Jacko very close behind. He's pushing Alpha as hard as he can, but he's not close enough as he tries to cut the curves. And Mills crosses the line in a very respective 6th place position. 8 points for him, 6 points for Jacko, who made that 2nd pit stop on the mediums with some damage and a penalty that he did in the pits as well. But the Red Bull Ring has turned into a Red Bull fest with a 1st and 3rd from Jelly and Mike. Mike's got a 5th and a 3rd in his last 2 races, didn't have any points in the previous 3, and a very good race for the Red Bull team. Bit mixed for Racing Point, Kieran Hankshaw.
Yes, mate, Racing Point, obviously, as we said about 5 times tonight, were the constructors' leaders. That's bound to change now, but Hobbsy and Jelly, to be fair, by far the most consistent drivers this season on the podiums. Again, we're getting used to it every week, aren't we, now with them two. Mike, his 1st podium of the season, that must taste very good for Mike Whitty in the Red Bull, and I think, as far as I'm aware, that should put Red Bull back to the top of the constructors. Let's have a quick look at potential driver of the day candidates, Limmy, if you want to go through them.
Yeah, I'm just taking a very quick picture of the results without penalties, just waiting for it to flicker. There we go. So we did have AUK from 12th to 8th. We did have James from 14th to think it. We had Joey's overtake on lap 1, which won in the race, which is good. Mike Quitty, first podium of the season with the fastest lap. Could he get driver of the day? Chris Panda, who was 3rd, went to last, has finished in 5th with a 1 stop on the hards. Could he be driver of the day? Whoever gets it, I'm sure fully deserves it. But with a light rain start to a dry race, I couldn't really have asked for a better race. We had lots to shout about, lots of overtakes, a safety car, some weather. It was brilliant.
Superb race, Limmy. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow we go again. No rest for the wiki. We go to Spain, Barcelona tomorrow night. Thought should be an incredible race. And once again, dynamic weather. Doesn't rain in Barcelona very often, but you never know in F1. Thank you to Limmy. Thank you to every single driver. Once again, it wouldn't be possible without you. And thank you to everybody on the stream who's tuned in. Thank you for your support. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and we will see you in less than 24 hours. Thought should be a thrilling race in Barcelona. Good night. Take care. Stay safe.